Hello and welcome to this big clipper video. In this video I'm going to show you how I printed and painted up a diorama that I call Dragon Slain, and I really loved it. So I had a lot of fun making this, had a lot of fun painting it, and it looks great on my shelf and I look at it quite often. So I really hope that this maybe inspires you to get your 3D printer out and working again, and maybe, or if you don't have one, pick up a model and paint it and make something cool. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I do read every single one of them and I even reply to every single one of them, so don't be shy, do say hello and let me know what you think. And yeah, really hope that you enjoy this video, so I'll see you again at the end. This is going to be another fun little project to give to Rosie. This is from a Kickstarter that I backed called Moxie the Brutal, and yeah, they had a Dragon Slayer, so we've printed this out over the last day or so. Come out really nicely. There's Moxie. So I need to glue them together and then I'll paint them. So you can see it fits together really nicely. And then there were multiple head options, so the heads are separate. And I went for Smiling Moxie. So there's a base as well, which is waiting downstairs. That's curing. But I figured that I'd get this stuck together. It's very early in the morning, we're heading off to Greece for a little beach day. So I thought I'd stick this together and get this primed, and then I can start painting it up. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how it looks actually. It printed out very nicely. So yeah, I'll get that done, just a bit of super glue, and I'll bring you along when I probably after I've painted it, show what it looks like sat on its base. Well, that glued together really nicely, and I finally managed to get the base cured, and you can see that this goes together beautifully. I quite often have problems with models that have keys or whatever that come from Kickstarter. That key probably will need to be trimmed a little bit. You can see that she's a little bit high, but that's not the biggest problem in the world to trim that down. The issue is the resin actually expands as it cures, so if they don't leave a good kind of like good sized hole with a bit of give, then it's not going to join. And you can see here that I have got a little bit of an issue at the back, which I'm going to need to do a little bit of filling on, but not too bad and not too much. So I will probably get my Mr. Filler here, Mr. Dissolve Putty, and fill those in. And actually I might do that now. So what I'll do is I'll grab my toothpicks, because I've found that this is best applied with toothpicks. Now I've said this a few times, so I am repeating myself a little bit from previous videos, but hey, good advice is good advice. You can use a brush, but toothpicks I've found are much better. And the other thing I've actually found recently is this goes off very quickly when it's warm, and it has been warm here, so I need to move relatively fast. So what I basically do is encourage it into place with my toothpick, shoving it around and cleaning up any overspill, and it just kind of like fills the gap, which is what you want from a gap filler, I suppose. But it's just really good stuff. It was actually Brushstroke, a good friend of mine, who recommended this to me. I've not spoken to him for ages. Need to get in touch with him. Keep seeing videos of his. Need to send him a message. Anyway, he's a fantastically talented painter. If you haven't seen his videos, go and check his channel out. He does done very well. And he is also a supreme human being, so he deserves all the success and whatever that he can have. So if you haven't come across him before, go check him out and tell him that I sent you. But yeah, anyway, so I'll get that filled. Once the filler is in, it goes off. What you can do is you can come along and tidy it up with the same toothpick or with a different toothpick if you'd rather. And yeah, then you won't have any gaps. So I'll get this done, and then I'll bring it back for the next step. When I get to it, it's probably going to be priming, so I probably won't bring it back for that, but I'll probably bring it back once I've primed and then we'll talk about the colour scheme, because colour scheme is very important for dragons. Right, enough rambling, nearly finished. I'll bring you back for the next step when I get to it. I've finished painting this up, pretty pleased with how it looks. And what I'm now going to do is start working on finishing off the base. So I've not glued anything together yet, because what I want to do is I want to use the snow effects. I've got a load of Woodland Scenic snow effects. I want to use that to build up the base, because my idea is the colours I've done. This is a snow dragon. You can see that the Slayer is kind of warm red and yellows. So she has walked into the icy snow and slain the dragon. So yeah, so I'm going to be making up some snow, and I'm trying to work out whether I'm going to glue that in first or not, and or whether I put snow underneath and then press it in, and that's kind of where I'm thinking at the moment. And it's a bit late now for me to start, so I'll probably do it tomorrow, but that'll also give me the opportunity to sleep on it. But that's the plan, a really snowy base, and then it'll be done. It won't take me very long to do, actually, to be honest. Much less time than I thought that I was going to spend on the base. I'm really happy with how it's turned out, and yeah, I think it looks great. So I'll bring you back when I come to do the snow. Right, so what I'm going to do now is mix up some snow paste. This is what I've got, the Woodland Scenic Soft Flake Snow, and I'm using the snow paste mix recipe from Setting the Scene by Pat Smith, which is a fantastic book. Really like that book. So if you don't own it, go and get it. And what we're going to do is I'm going to get a spoon, because it's a 2 parts, 1 part, 1 part. So I'll get a couple of spoons, and we will mix this as accurately as we can. So what I'm going to do is 4 parts Woodland Scenic's Soft Flake Snow. So I may run out and I have got another pack. So what I'll do is get 4 parts snow. I might just do 2 parts. I might halve the quantities for this. So there's 1. Spilled a bit. I'll scrape that up. There's 2. So it then says 1 part PVA or Woodland Scenic's water. And I think you get different effects based on if you use PVA or water. So what I'll do now is 1 part. So it says 2 parts, so I'll do 1 part. And then 1 part water, so I'll use a smaller spoon to get the amount of water. And then what we'll do is we'll mix it all up to make ourselves a paste. So let's see how well this works. I'm going to make use of a lollipop stick to mix, and also I'll probably use the lollipop stick to apply. So this is what it's looking like. I may need to mix up another batch, but I'd rather have too little than too much at this stage, because I really hate waste, and it might be that that does actually end up being enough. Right, so with that mixed, let's move the camera in a little bit closer, and we'll have a look and see how I go about applying it. Okay, so we've got our paste, and we've got our piece. Paste and pieced. Not pieced, piece, but it is snow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread this. I don't want to cover the entirety of the model with snow. I do want some of that brown to still come through, but I do also want it to look like there's, well, quite a lot of snow. Now that little gap there I need to leave so I can glue the Slayer in place. And it's good. It looks like I have actually mixed up too much, ironically. So I'm glad I halved my quantities. I'm not sure how well this stuff keeps, whether you can cover it and put it in the fridge and it doesn't go off. Probably doesn't keep at all. Right, so let's have a quick look and see how that looks. See if I need to put any more on. Yeah, I think if I glue that in place, I've got it nicely underneath. If I glue that in place, I can then put some going up the sides. So, where's my glue? There's my glue. Get some super glue. Have another look through and turn it around and just have a quick look all the way around. This is something that's very important to do, is look at it from all angles. I think maybe that looks good. Might put a little bit more in just under there. So a little bit more in here. And then super glue on the bottom of that. Super glue on the sides of this, just so it definitely grabs. And then put it in place. There we are. And then we can come and build this snow up a little bit longer, a little bit more. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Slayer in place. So I want it to look like it's kind of buried into the snow a little bit there. There we are. I might come around to the side. Try not to let it drip too much, but I honestly don't mind it coming down the side a bit. I might need to clean that off in a second. Just fill these gaps in. There we are. So now a judicious finger just to take that drip off. And now what we're going to do is stick some super glue on this and hope I can still find the hole. But in one sense it doesn't matter. Yeah. There we are. Found it. There we are. So I've still got quite a bit. Well, that drifted off camera. Apologies. I was paying so much attention to what I was doing. I was forgetting about the camera, which does happen. Yeah, so that's now in place, as you can see. Yeah, just gonna probably waste this snow effect, which is a bit of a shame. But I don't want to put any more on. So there we are. I'm quite pleased with that. I'll let that dry. I'll keep an eye on it. Try to make sure that this doesn't drip down too much. Might put I'll put a bit more snow on if I can. From memory, I don't know whether this might actually work, where I can actually, when it's dried, I can crumble it and then put some PVA and sprinkle it over the top to make it look a little bit more sparkly. So I'll leave that in there. I won't throw it away and see how that looks when it's dry. But there we are. Dragon slain. Well, there we are, a really fun build, and it really did turn out great. I was quite pleased with the colours I chose for the dragon, and the snow effects worked really well. I think it all really pulls together and holds together quite nicely as a nice dragon, and obviously the hunter is pretty cool as well. So yeah, a great fun build, and that sits on my shelf, and as I said, I really enjoy looking at it. So let me know what you think. If this has inspired you to maybe get a 3D printer or do some painting, that would be awesome to know. I do reply to all my comments, so if you do leave one, you will get a reply from me. And thank you very much. And if you don't, and anyway, and if you've made it this far, then thank you so much for watching the video. And wrap up by saying, as I always do to everyone, please do stay healthy, stay safe, and stay well.